Joining us this afternoon is the head coach of the Harmony Lady Eagles basketball team, Chris Hightower. Coach, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. Now, before we get into this interview, I need to ask you a question because I remembered something as I was prepping for this. Do you remember us meeting about 5 years ago?
Was I at Munster?
Yes. So I worked for a radio station, and we
Okay.
we covered Como Picton, and Como Picton was
Okay, yeah.
playing Clarksville in Commerce one Saturday.
That's right.
And after
Yep.
the game, me and my buddy that called the game, we were walking out, and that's when we saw you and talked to you. Then we called the Como Picton Munster game the following week in Paris. Didn't turn out well for Como Picton. Turned out well for you though.
It did for us, for sure. I remember it now. We were out in the parking lot, I believe, after that game. That's
Yep.
right. That's
Yep.
right. I
As I
remember it
was
now.
prepping for this, I was like, I'm pretty sure I've met this guy before.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a pleasure to talk
That's
to you
me.
again, Coach. Pleasure to
Yes,
talk
sir.
to you.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about your Harmony Lady Eagles. 9-1 in district play, 19-14 overall. You are the District 13 3A champions. And from my research, I believe that's the first district championship for Harmony girls basketball in about 6 years. So talk to me a little bit about this season.
So I think it's been since 2019, since the last district championship, and I believe it's the last time we've had a playoff win as well. So we've got a lot to play for still. So the season, this is my first year as the head coach here. And a team that had made the playoffs last year and had quite a bit back. It's one of those where you kind of build a schedule, and sometimes it gets a little tougher than what you think it's going to be. And we played some really, really tough teams. We played some ranked 3A and 4A teams that were highly ranked. And boy, some of them were not great, but it really has gone a long way. I've got some great support around here, whether it be admin or other coaches. Just stay with it. And with me being at Munster, we didn't have volleyball, so I had them in August, and we played year round. So this was a little bit different, having to wait for volleyball. But what I really loved was, they won a playoff game in volleyball, and this group got to understand how to win a playoff game. And then going into basketball, we had a lot of learning to do, just different styles of basketball. There's 1,000 ways to do this thing, and people have been successful with all of it. It just took us a little bit. And we had lost 5 in a row going into district, but we're playing Liberty Alu, and we're playing Bullard, and we're playing Brownsboro and those guys. Going to district, and man, the kids just that switch happens. And luckily for us, it happened right as district started, and lost a close one at Mount Pleasant Chapel Hill by 2 points. We led most of the game there, so we were really close to doing it undefeated. But we've got things clicking right now. The girls, the buy-in has been amazing. The group of seniors that I inherited have just been fantastic. They've completely bought in, and there's some excitement around here, so it's been nice.
Yeah, and it's something about that Harmony community, whether it's girls basketball, boys basketball, football, baseball,
Mhm.
softball, the community shows up and
Yeah,
shows out to support,
they do.
especially when the team is performing well. And now they're
Oh,
going to
for
show up
sure.
regardless, but it's
Yeah.
especially going to happen when they're winning. So let's talk about this. I was looking at the scores though, and it's been a lot of
Yeah.
low scoring games,
It
defensive
has.
battles. So is
It
that
has.
is that a strategy on your part, or is that just kind of how the games are playing out?
So a lot of times with my team's philosophy is we're going to hang our hat on defense. That's going to be where we're going to be. With a lot of our teams, of course, every team's different, but we like to play the game in the half court. We feel like we can do a good job as far as defensively in the half court, and on offense, being structured, being organized, and having a little bit of structure throughout our offense while still being able to take what the defense gives you. For us, the defensive side, they've really bought into that. And a lot of times when you get in the half court, that possessions, that comes down a little bit. So you're not getting near as many shots. So for us, in the past, it's always been hold them under 40, we'll be okay. This year, I think it's been a little bit more, let's hold them under 30, and we've got a good shot of winning. So, but it's one of those things where, that is a struggle for us, but we've come around as far as finding those, valuing the possessions and getting good shots. And it's been the template for us, and it's working. So we're going to keep on playing some defense.
And Do you notice that when you go into these games where it is a big defensive game like that, and the other team
Mhm.
is struggling to score, do you see it kind of wearing them down? And then is that when you look at your girls and say, "We got them. This is what we want."
It especially, when we go against teams that wanna play with some tempo and wanna play a little bit faster, and we've got a few in our district that wanna do that, and, a lot of times, and you've been covering this long enough, that sometimes when you can slow a team down that wants to play a little bit faster, it does get them out of their rhythm a little bit, and, that right there, so what you just said has been, I think, what has been the turning point for us. Early in the year, we didn't handle that well, and we would panic and try to play faster. Our girls understand now when a team wants to speed you up, we don't change. We keep it our speed, and we've kind of figured that out, and we've been able to find ourselves in better positions to win ball games, whereas early in the year it wasn't happening for us.
And you mentioned the tough non-district schedule, playing teams like
Mhm.
Brownsboro and Liberty Islo, big teams like
Yeah.
that. How much do you think those games helped prepare you for district, and how do you think that'll help you going into this playoff run?
I think the biggest thing was I think the girls can retroactively look back and see the things that they learned from it, and they recognize, okay, that's what we were looking for. And I mean, I know there's a couple of games on our schedule where they've literally said, man, I wish we could go back and play that one. I wish we could go back and see, what it looks like now. No, of course, that team's gotten better too. But just, I think they trust themselves. There's just so much more confidence defensively. Whereas in the past, maybe they felt, well, we don't have a chance at all. And one of the things about Harmony, they've just been so the last few years, they've always been in the district with Winsboro and Edgewood and Quitman and those guys who are just, I mean, year after year, they're really good programs, and Harmony fights like mad, and it's really really tough, and so they were able to kind of build that up in the early parts of the season, and then it comes to fruition in district, and it's been nice, it's been good.
Well, I do want to ask you about Munster too, because that's where we met,
Mhm.
and you had success
Yeah.
over there in Munster, and I believe lost in the state game in 2020, and then the regional finals in 2021. So,
Yes,
um,
sir.
obviously successful basketball program over there. Like you mentioned, they don't have volleyball, so you get those girls kind of longer to develop them.
Yeah.
What did you learn at Munster, and what are you taking from Munster that you are implementing here at Harmony now?
Um, it is a process. In Munster, you get to start that process earlier. And the thing with Munster is that tradition was already established. I was really lucky that I just kind of got to bring in and kind of add to the nostalgia and add to the tradition that was already there and put another little twist on it. Um, I think the biggest thing was trusting in that process, and if you can get the buy-in, the rest will come later. And I really just kind of stayed with that. Just trust the process. Keep doing what we do. When it clicks, it'll click, and they'll be able to move forward. And over the last about 6 weeks, that's really been the process. It's just happened later in the season than I'm used to. And I've been I've had opportunities where most coaches, started out in Martin's Mill, no football, then Yanis, no football, Bullard, not a whole lot of girls. It was girls basketball, and then Munster, no volleyball. So I've been really lucky as far as that goes. But just trusting the process and knowing that it'll eventually get there, that was a big thing. And just trying to be myself. And it's okay to want things done a certain way, and staying with that, and holding people accountable, and things like that. And the girls, once again, the buy-in was there, so they were ready to roll. And um, it's like I said, we're reaping what we've sown all year long, and the girls are just super excited about it.
And you've kind of mentioned it already too, talking about the support that you've had from the administration and all
Mhm.
that. I know Mr.
Yeah.
Offen over there is one of my favorite people of all time.
Oh
He
yeah.
is a
Oh
great
yeah.
human being. So talk to me a little bit about that though, the administration, how they've supported you, the other coaches, and then the support from the community as well.
So, I mean, administrators from superintendent, assistant superintendent, principal, assistant principals, all the way down to our athletic director, Brian Mock, and our girls coordinator, Sherry Seahorn. Both have been here for a long time. And that's one thing about Harmony. There's a lot of ex-Harmony people here. And they've been all in, and that's been great. But having an athletic director and a girls coordinator that trust me with what how I think we need to push our program, and it's just been right there with me. I've got two of Coach Mock's daughters. Coach Seahorn was a longtime girls basketball coach here, and they've just been so supportive in every step of the way. Of course, our admin, anything I need, they're there. They're supporting. The boys basketball coach Joel Jenkins. I've enjoyed kind of getting to know him a little bit better. I've known his older brothers for a while, Greg and Jeremy. It's just been really nice to have that kind of support, knowing that on those days that I was frustrated and down, and when I look at our record and it's not great, of just stay with it. Just stay with it. I was telling a story just the other day. Coach Seahorn just the whole year just kept on saying, "You're going to have them ready. You're going to have them ready. You're going to have them ready." And we had a big game against Mount Pleasant Chapel Hill about a week and a half ago. And it's a big home game, and she just left a little note on my desk, and it said, "Good luck. They're ready." And that meant a lot to me. I told the girls, and of course, they were just beaming. And so the community. These last few home games have been absolutely bonkers. My assistant coach, other coaches, people that have been here forever, coach, I've never seen the gym that loud, that packed, that engaged. And our girls just fed off of it. And that was just a big mantra for us is embrace the challenge, embrace the grind of the season, embrace the challenges, the adversity, and they've kind of started figuring that stuff out and having that support from the community and the student section. These last two home games against Chapel Hill and Jefferson, who are solid teams, has just gone a long way. And so the belief is there. I don't know if you watch Ted Lasso, but Ted Lasso has the believe sign up there, and I can just go on and on about Ted Lasso. Matter of fact, one of my girls, I have to tell her to be a goldfish all the time. Just have that 10-second memory and move on. So the belief is there.
That's awesome. And you mentioned Coach Seahorn. Yes, she was a huge help. I remember when I first started at the radio station, she was doing softball and girls basketball. So she was the head coach of both of them.
Yeah.
So she was busy, but she's awesome. So and you're right. Like there is a ton of ex-Harmony players that had kids go through that program that care so deeply about the success of the school and of the athletic program. So yeah, I think you're in a good spot over there. Couple more questions I want to ask you. First off, I know with D1 and D2, is Harmony going D1 or Division 2?
Division 2. We're in matter of fact, going this next realignment, I think we're the smallest 3A in the state. So small school was going to be a pretty safe bet for us the entire way. So that made it a little bit easier for us, but we're only about like 8 students over the cutoff this next go round. So
that's why when I was in high school, my freshman and sophomore year at Lindale, we were the smallest school in 4A by like 6 kids. We were over that threshold. So completely understand there. Tell me, do you know already, or what is the playoff scenario? What is the playoff game for next week? And then second question to that follow-up, what are your expectations as you hit this playoff run coming up?
So we're going to play DCAB, and we are going to be playing at Prairieland High School on Monday night at 6:30. We're the only game that night. So Monday night after that, as far as that game right there, I think it's going to be a close battle. You were mentioning a low scoring. I kind of have a suspicion that it may be like that again. DCAB is a big team. They've got some length. We're not a real big team. But again, we play really, really good half-court defense. I think we can do a good job of holding them to as little as we possibly can. For us, I think the key is going to be not turning the ball over on silly stuff, just unforced errors. Do what we do. And valuing the possession, not just kind of basically just stay within our philosophy and not try to play with any other style that they want to get us into. They're gonna try to extend the zone, I think, and us being able to get the ball in there where we need to. If we can make that happen, I think we'll start breaking that down and be successful. So I think we've got a good chance to win the game, but it's going to be a really tough one.
Didn't DCAB knock Harmony out of the playoffs last year?
They did by one or 2 points. Yeah.
So I think it was a 1-point game last year. So little revenge factor. Have you talked to the girls about that at all?
We do. And they remember, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that to that, and just back in the spring when I took the job, kind of sat down with them and kind of talked about expectations, and I said, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, my goal is a district championship, and they kind of just looked at me, and I said, I mean, what? And Jefferson had been tough for them, and our district got a lot better this year. They were a young group, and a lot of teams on our district just were better teams this year. So we went to Jefferson first, and we were able to beat them on their floor, and that just you could just see. Oh man, okay, all right, let's go. And so that vision, we talked a lot about having a telescope and a microscope. That vision back in the spring was a district championship, but you can't. That's too far off. You got to get that telescope out to see it. And but sometimes you've got to see all the little things. So you got to get that microscope out and see the little things that it takes to get there. And so we talked a lot about that over the summer, throughout the fall, after volleyball, and that telescope's gotten thrown away now. I mean, that district champion was right there, and we were able to get that. The next one is that playoff win. They're really hungry for it. Again, it's been 7 years since that's happened, maybe 6, 7 years. A lot of that was just circumstance, being in those tough districts. But all the same, it's still a long time, and the belief is there, and that goal is just fresh. And now, Coach, why can't we do more? I'm for it. Let's roll. Let's go. But that's a tough route. You've got your Quitmans and those kind of guys waiting right in the wings. And Blake Hamrick's done such a great job over there in Quitman. That's my hometown. Basketball hasn't been great traditionally, and Blake's done. And being a Quitman kid himself, his mom was my counselor, I believe, and it's really nice to see him do that. And make Quitman proud with his program. So that'll kind of be a cool little homecoming. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, we got to get past next Monday first.
Got to get past DCAB. Yeah.
That's right. Well, Coach,
Yeah.
thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us this
Yeah.
afternoon. And best of luck to you and the Harmony Lady Eagles in the playoffs. And I'm sure we'll talk to you down the road.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it so much. And go Eagles.
Go Eagles. All right. We'll see you, Coach. Thank you so much.